Is this thing going? Okay, we good. All right, so it's B-Rackz, aka B-Rackz Go Crazy, multi-platinum producer, um, multi-platinum sound designer, as well as a sample maker. Many things. So real quick backstory on this B-Rackz archive drum kit or bundle. So basically, I started my sound design career around late 2010, early 2011, and I was like 13 years old. I'm always 2 years ahead of the current year. Um, I started my sound design career around 2011, and the reason why I actually did this is because I wanted drums that I would hear in like 808 Mafia beats, you know what I'm saying? Lex Luger, Southside, TM, Tarantino, even like drums I heard Mike Will or Cino with, you know what I'm saying, etc., etc., etc. So basically, I got into it to remake every drum that I heard in the 808 Mafia beat, and I was actually successful at it. But the process I went through was actually like the actual process for the drums before they got tweaked into what the actual producers would use. So I started kind of getting a little deeper than what anybody else would normally actually get into. Most people would just trade for the drum kits or simply, go looking on a forum or something for it. But I actually took time and went through the motions in the process. So boom, I end up successfully remaking all the sounds that I heard in Beats by 808 Mafia, with just basic 808 drums, drums from various kits where I would like over process it and basically like because a lot of drums people use right were chop samples out of pre-existing records, so I would follow that method, kind of create a root sample as if it was in a piece of music, and then resample it and try to like master the sound, process it, then you know what I'm saying, chop it, process it, chop it till I got the right result. So boom, I ended up making such a good kit. I remember wanting some of the drums they used, and I didn't have money. I didn't have money for anything. I was 13 years old, so I saw all these kits online. I'm like, okay. So at that time, the wave was to sell drum kits on YouTube. You post a picture of the kit, you put the price, you put the email in the description, you say, hit me. I use PayPal, it's this amount of dollars to get the kit, etc. So I was doing that, and I actually had a YouTube page under the name Crescendo, which is a group I was doing. Post being a part of a group called, I think, TC Mafia or something like that, or before or after. But I ended up having a production group called Crescendo, and it's probably just me, my homie from school, and one more other person from school. That was it. But I ended up releasing this 808 Mafia drum kit for $100 on YouTube, and at the time, people just cashed out on kits because it was very rare to find sounds with an actual quality that would actually like catch your ear. Like aside from older producers knowing certain knowledge to get the original samples, if we would have knew better back then as teenagers or young adults, we definitely would have had the sauce because there was resources out there. You just had to know where to look. But due to scarcity of information, we couldn't find those sources. So boom, my career of sound design starts 2011. I ended up making a couple $1,000s off that kit over time. Like one of my first drum kits I ever put out, get into sound design. So boom, I get deeper into it. I end up designing Nexus banks and an 808 Mafia Nexus bank. So boom, I designed a Nexus bank and a Nexus 2 crack version. I own the official one now. Shout out Refix. Y'all should sponsor a young man. But I end up making a Nexus bank that sells real good. So I put it in the 808 Mafia kit. It does real good. So I'm on Twitter at the time because Twitter was more booming than anything, and I think Instagram released 2013, so it was just Facebook and Twitter. Maybe like the early, like the later days of MySpace before it really got wiped out by Facebook and stuff. So boom, I ended up getting on Twitter, and somehow one of my homies, I think it could have been Bass Kids or somebody, I don't know how, but I ended up getting in contact with DP-Beatz. Now, this is my first custom drum kit I've done for, you know, a reputable or very recognized or known producer. So this is like 2014. It's my first custom drum kit I ever ended up making. Prior to that, I put out the Trap House drum kit. I think I had like a mega production bundle with everything and some other stuff. So boom, I ended up making Wheezy Beats, an exclusive drum kit with a Nexus bank. And no, fuck Wheezy. Damn. Yeah. DP-Beatz. DP-Beatz. I ended up making DP-Beatz, an exclusive drum kit with an actual Nexus bank to it, and he likes it so much. He's like, bro, I'm about to rock this. I'm about to put this in every goddamn beat. And like, lo and behold, from 2014 up until probably to this day, that's probably like 11 years ago, nigga still using the drums. You feel me? Still using the drums. We never signed any paperwork or anything. You know, I wasn't really hip on paperwork, but I just be like, you know, let me do this for you, let me do that for you, and I would just get it done and go on about my way. So boom, 2013 or I think 2012 or 2013, 2014, somewhere along those lines, I ended up doing a personal drum kit for DP-Beatz. Shout out Beat Zombie, my homie. I don't know if he still makes beats, but Beat Zombie also, at the height of me sound designing, I think around 2014 when I first got to Georgia, um, I ended up doing an Electra X Bank plus drum kit for him, and he used that as well. I think I might have did Gladiator for him as well. But that's when I started getting into the synth design because um, with me actually coming into sound design and drums, I had to learn synth design because a lot of my drum sounds were synthesized and reprocessed into being like the type of stuff you hear in the trap beats. So boom, I end up doing that. And then I get to Georgia and I'm meeting all these new people. I'm at school with all these people. So it's like, I'm just like getting my name out there and building a career as a producer as well. Same time getting placements. And I end up, like over time, I just end up becoming like just a full-fledged sound designer. So, around like late 2014, early 2015, I end up doing a kit, just where I basically took time and I studied the sounds from B Weezy's drum kits. I was also using it as a resource. I also used what else? I started using like vintage NPC drums and stuff like that, like studying vintage NPC drums and like looking at the transients and trying to see if I can redesign like Zaytoven 808s and stuff like that. So boom, I actually end up like taking all my previous kits and revamping the sounds, reprocessing them, and combining them with other sound sources I got until I got a new result. And then that's how the One Sounds by B-Rackz kit was born. So boom, that kit comes out, right? And when I make that kit, I end up passing it on to producers like Wheezy, KC the Beat Monster, Beat Monster Mark. He got a lot of beats where he used that drum kit. OG Parker. Upon meeting MurdaBeatz, I end up giving him that drum kit as well, along with a custom drum kit I did for him. We're gonna talk about that in a second. But yeah, along with a custom drum kit, I gave DP the kit as well. He uses it. Some sounds that I actually sent him are in there, like the DP Kush hi-hat you may have seen somewhere. Damn, like that kit, like I gave it to so many people, like my boy Loki, NPC Cartel, uh Taz Taylor. I gave that joint to Nick Mirror and during the internet money era for myself. I think I was like internet money for like 2016, like a year or two. But yeah, so that kit spread it like wildfire because it just had great quality, had funny names. Like I was a teenager, so like I'm just naming it random shit. Like I got a fucking open hat in there called Long Titty No Nipple, and like it's like I wasn't actually cracking jokes towards producers or nothing. It's just like who the fuck, like you gonna know who sound this is, because you gonna know who made the sound, because when you hear the sound, you'll be like, I remember that dumbass name he put on there. That was the idea behind it, for real, for real. Like, just kind of like cracking jokes, or like lighthearted, like, you know what I'm saying, like just funny meme and shit on the names per sound, for like producers that I actually like fuck with to this day and looked up to, and just appreciate their sound and learned a lot from. But this kid had like hundreds of sounds, and I just kind of, I spent like days like just sound designing in my headphones on my little HP laptop and compiling it. So boom, this kid spreads like wildfire, and my homies Kels and Y.I.B, right? It's like 2015, late 2014 or something like that. So Kels and Y.I.B, I met them through my homie Yayo. My homie Yayo, I met him on SoundCloud. So Yayo, I tap in with him on SoundCloud. We meet in person for the first time, like 2014. I was staying on River Road on the east side, staying in River Road. He came to my house. We cooked up. I think he probably had to be like 17 or some shit. Like, he had to be like, I think he like 4 or 5 years older than me, maybe 3 or 4 years older than me. So boom. Yayo ends up coming to cook up at my crib, and he thought me, some sauce, some sound sources, some sauce. So boom, I ended up doing a drum kit called Dread Gang for him. And then fast forward, I get cool with the rest of the gang, my homie Judo, Kels, Y.I.B, etc. I think MurdaBeatz was in the group chat as well. My boy Drazer, Timmy the Hitman, my boy Deezy, Chicago. There's a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying? I think Bass Kids might have been in the group too. It was just like this fat ass group of producers on Skype. We used to just trade sounds, crack jokes all day, and fucking collab, play video games, like, you know what I'm saying, watch the Super Bowl and shit together, just like a network. But I end up actually sound designing a kit with them called the Sauce Kit. So it's kind of blurred, but I think overall we came up with like the sound sources. Everybody got sounds they would put in, and then I put a mix on the sounds, they put a mix on the sounds, we compiled it, and then we were selling it. That kit made thousands of dollars. I kid you not. That bitch still on DJ Swift page. Shout out DJ Swift. He did the promo, he did the art and everything. That bitch went up. He put that bitch on his YouTube. We made good money. So boom, we do the sauce kit, and I get that junk to Wheezy and everybody, and that bitch just going stupid. So boom, fast forward, I'm getting even deeper in the sound design. So I end up doing a drum kit for my boy Y.I.B called like the Y.I.B White Black Mexican kit. You know what I'm saying? My little goofy little names I put on my shit. So boom, I end up doing him a kit, and he ends up introducing me to MurdaBeatz. I end up pulling up on MurdaBeatz at the QC studio in Atlanta in this early stages, like before certain rooms even had speakers plugged up and shit. And Murda's cooking up with like OG Parker, and it's like me, Murda, OG, Y.I.B. Judo might have been there. I don't quite remember. There's a couple artists from QC or whatever there. So anyway, I end up giving him and OG Parker this one, like, just basically a compilation of all my kits and banks and stuff. That was the beginning of that relationship. And then boom, Murda's like, shit, I want exclusive drum kits. So I'm like, bet. So I tell him how much. The next day, because I was supposed to be pulling up on him like in a day or two, because he's like in Atlanta on, visiting, working with the Migos, whatever, what he doing, whatever he doing. But I end up going home. I actually end up making the entire kit within like 24 hours, basically. Probably took me realistically 12 hours to make the kit. I completely revamped like every sound with great dynamics that we like, and gave it its own dynamic, like the Lex Luger clap, etc. All the sounds we love, I created an entirely new dynamic for it to feel like hip hop instead of trap, but be usable in both. And I honestly didn't even really know what the hell I was like doing as far as like conceptual. I'm like, okay, um, I don't know, Murder's from Canada. I've heard beats from Canada before. They really favor towards the hip hop dynamic more than trap out there. So I'm like, I'm just going on these sounds and like really just use like a lot of new techniques that I learned and get to really just, you know what I'm saying, pumping them out, cooking them. So boom, I ended up making like this kit with like I think like 100 something, 200 sounds in that bit, right? Like 200 sounds in that joint. And next day I pull up on him and OG at QC Studio. Think I might have been by myself that time, or maybe with Y.I.B, because I think he was visiting Atlanta too. But boom, I come back up there. I get him in the kit, and I ain't know what to expect from him. He gave me, you know, some bread. You know what I'm saying? Um, shit. QC. They give us our own room to cook up at QC. I go in the other room. I'm cooking up with the homie. Phenom the Don. He was cooking up at QC at the time, so I'm cooking up with Phenom the Don. We in the same room. Just whipping up beats, and this it gets late, probably like some o'clock in the morning or something, or maybe to the next day we cooking up, and I end up just going back home, calling my mom to pick me up. You know, I used to basically spend the night at studios back then when I was a kid, like or a teenager. Like sometimes I spend like a whole week just sleeping on the floor of the studio, like feel me, trying to just grind like 16, 17, 18, 19, etc. Sleep on the floor, sleep on the couch, wherever. Fucking, if I don't eat, it's cool. Just you know, ask around for a little meal, a little money for a meal, whatever. You know, survival mode. So I just camp out the studio, end up going back home and just getting back to my regular life. Uh, fucking nigga, weeks or months later, Murder started putting out hella songs with the kid. It's like, you know, I wasn't aware of like the platinum and gold system. You feel me? I got into production because I liked music, and I really just wanted to get very recognized for the music I made, and you know, still have like a financial abundance. But I didn't know what actually accumulated financial abundance in the music game. So I get hip to the gold and platinum system. I'm like, damn, hold on, this nigga Murder done went like platinum, gold, platinum, gold, platinum, gold with my shit. Like, and I'm making all these drums just to the point where it's been used on so many records. I can't really tell you exactly which ones. I know, like Nice for What, Butterfly Effect are two of the most obvious to me. And as far as OG Parker, he also made a lot of like big records with my stuff. Um, I know one of his might be Walk It Like I Talk It. I hear a lot of sounds like that. I also ended up giving the same drum kit to well, not the MurdaBeatz drum kit, but the one sounds like I said before. I gave it to Wheezy Turbo. So Wheezy actually he ended up producing something for 21 Savage around that time with the Sauce kit um and the One Sounds kit. Turbo was also using the One Sounds kit. Y'all probably recognize it's a snare in the kit called Church Snare. If you go listen to that snare, you'll recognize it in a lot of records by them and other producers. Um, and you know, I just kept building on it, kept building on it. I ended up doing like some sounds for NPC Cartel, and like thing about us, like when we was doing sounds, like I really wouldn't even just make them a personal kit. I just send them whatever I did, and it got to a point where I would just design sounds and send them out to all the producers I fuck with, sending out hella drums. So boom, fast forward from there, I end up designing a sound kit with Judo Beats called Sauce God Kit, and that series lasted until like Sauce God 4. And around the time I also did Beethoven. The Beethoven kits was good too because that's when I was studying the dynamics of drums that Zaytoven used. And actually I got the dynamic right, but it was a tweak to the sound. So to this day you can go back to some of those sounds, and if you just edit them, like shorten them or do like stretching tricks or adding saturation or maybe using like a filter from the MPC, like a filter plugin or compression of some sort from the MPC, you can actually emulate the Zaytoven feel of a sound, but obviously with newer dynamics because I designed all this shit from scratch. So boom, I ended up doing the Beethoven kit, Sauce God kit with Judo Beats. All these kits like basically went viral around the time. It's like to the point where damn near every, every older producer, just every producer in general, they get a pack of like say when your sound plug loads you up, they get a pack of my drums like in any time you get loaded up by the sound plug, it's gonna be some sounds from B-Rackz in any kit. Cause it's to a point where like a lot of Launch 77 kits, he actually got like a bunch of sounds. I don't even know how he got them because like some of these sounds I didn't even really sell to the public, or like some of these sounds I gave them to bigger producers who I wouldn't think would pass them around, but it still got around. So Launch 77, shout out him. He actually got a lot of sounds that I really don't know how he got them, but the 21 Savage 808s. Let's talk about them. The 21 Savage 808s. So I was hearing the 21 Savage records that Sunny Digital was producing at the time, 2015, 2014, etc. I was like, damn, that 808 sounds so nice, and it's like the dynamic of it. It was like I don't know how to describe it. It was like you know how the Lex Luger 808 feels like there's an emptiness, like there's a lot of headroom. But like it just like the all the fatness is in the low end, and then like the 808 Sunny Digital was using at the time felt more like a kick all the way through. Like I don't know how like a sub that's like heavy, a heavy footed sub, like a fat sub. Like you know how synthesizers got oversampling capabilities, and you can take it from 4 times, 12 times, 16, 18, 24, 32 oversampling, and you can kind of get a fatness to an oscillator. Like I felt like his sounds had max fatness pause, but they had like maximized fatness. And I'm studying. I'm like, damn, how the fuck? So I actually went and resynthesized like a bass sub wave, and I tweaked the process until I ended up making I think 14 versions of this 21 Savage 808 until I was satisfied with the 13th one. That's actually the 14th one, because the first 808 just says 21 Savage 808. So boom, those 808s alone end up going like crazy. Them 808s like is everywhere to a point where people just kind of rename it and throw it in their kits. You know what I'm saying? So boom, I end up doing that, and then the Beethoven series is doing good as well. And then I end up linking up with Cassius J somewhere along the lines, late 2015 or early 2016, and just as just like as an appreciation for him rocking with me, like inserting me into opportunities that he didn't have to, sharing knowledge, like just let me watch his process, as a producer, kind of being on his wing for a couple months, a couple weeks and months. Like I learned a lot from that, and actually brought my homie with me to brought my homie Tater with me, to pull up on a session with Cassius J. And yeah, man, like I ended up doing him a drum kit, just as a appreciation. And I actually ended up working on I think I ended up like working with another sound designer to oversee. I think it was big works. It was either I think it was Big Works or a Big Fish Audio, something like that. But I ended up co-working on a contact bank they were doing for Cassius J, and I think it also included drum samples that I actually provided for the contact bank. So shouts out them. And like this is just a timeline of my sound design career. This isn't even like up to now. So boom, like, and all these drums I'm talking about is like included in this kit, minus the MurdaBeatz kit. Cause like I don't know, MurdaBeatz to kind of like that was very very personalized to him. I don't know, he did a lot with it. I don't want to just like throw it out there. Maybe somewhere along the lines, if we talk about it, then I'll release it alongside with him. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, boom, got the Cassius J kit in there. Got the classic ShadDaGod kit in there, the ShadDaGod Soul kit, um ShadDaGod 3 kit, ShadDaGod 2 kit sounds in here, the Akai Mafia's drums, all the compilation kits, the One Sounds, DPB's drum kit, um Nexus and Electro Banks with the Fetch patches and expand banks as well, Grosby too. So boom. Later down the line, after the Cassius J kit, I ended up getting with Internet Money later on, because word was getting around that I was dope. You know, I was doing my thing with the online beat selling. My homie Young Kels vouched for me and got me in a situation where I could, you know, be a part of Internet Money, and I was working alongside people like K Supreme, DT, Nick Mirror, Taz Taylor, um, E True, Pharaoh, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? It's some new guys in there now. I don't know how many now, but shouts out Internet Money. But that's when I designed ShadDaGod 2, the ShadDaGod 2 kit. Um, and then ShadDaGod 3, I think that came a little later after I had left Internet Money. After I left, I ended up doing ShadDaGod 3 and Beethoven 2, Beethoven 2. So I guess up from 2011 to like, let's say early 2017, you know, like it's just so many kits, and there's a lot of stuff I ain't named that's in this kit, you feel me? But it's a lot of stuff I didn't name that like the miscellaneous 808 packs that I was doing, just sending to people, you know, because I just made it for fun and it sounded dope. All them like miscellaneous like sounds I processed. It's even got like the Rolling Phantom. Like I took time and chopped all the samples out of the Rolling Phantom keyboard, and actually like did certain tweaks to them, and I used the algorithm inside of I think Slice X on FL Studio to chop the sounds and then like bulk named them and just kind of put them in the pack and let it be what it be. There's also a drum kit where I processed some sounds. I processed them too loud, then I normalized them, then reprocessed them. Ended up processing them ended up reprocessing them after I had already reprocessed them. So it's got some unique character and dynamics. I don't know. Like some people may say don't work for beats. Some may be able to do something with it. A lot of people probably couldn't do nothing with like a MurdaBeatz drum kit, but he was able to go like, you know, practically like probably, you know, damn near 20 platinum certifications with it. So, you know, OG Park as well, he did great with my kits. Wheezy, everybody, you know, everybody who's used it did very well with my kits, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a matter of perspective, the ear, and like creativity. When you approaching music with a cookie cutter approach, like, and you want the whole process to just be done for you, it kind of takes away from what you could potentially do as a creator with the music. But yeah, like there's also like this 808 pack. Like when I first was able to tap in with DJ Plug, like when I first got tapped in with DJ Plug, Bobby Critical and them, like I think for a brief moment I was in contact with Willa Fool, and I actually was studying sounds that were used, but you know, a lot of the times I didn't have the real source. So what I would do, go and resynthesize it and then design it to have a similar dynamic, but it'll be a totally different sound because it wouldn't be the same sound. So I ended up making like a fat ass pack of 808s called, I think, DJ Plug, Willa Fools, Beethoven 808 pack, and was successful at making like sounds with similar dynamics that sounded good. Shouts out NPC Cartel, low key. He actually showed me the process to actually make an 808 in that fashion. So like I could kind of like you remember the Willa Fool 808? Y'all remember the Willa Fool 808? Where there was like it ain't nothing to cut that bitch off, and like it was on a bunch of other stuff. It was also on DJ Plugs beats. It's actually a flipped 808 made with a loop point. And I actually got the original 808. It's called the Awaited Kick. And it's like the one that's being passed around, the one that everybody has, is basically like a short chop of it, but there's actually an original version that I actually was able to witness the process of and get the original sound from low key MPC Cartel, the Awaited Kick. So that's the original sound. That bit fire. Also got the original Boom Jungle 808 with the loop point on it from MPC Cartel. That one fire. I think um the thing with that type of sound design, like y'all gotta understand, man, niggas was using Reason back then because FL Studio for a lot of producers either wasn't accessible or they couldn't use it on Mac and they just were limited to a MacBook, so they had to use Reason or would have to risk like the integrity of like partitioning their drive to use a Windows OS on a MacBook. So I think just somewhere along the lines, it was a preferred solution, or some people just started out on Reason and that's they stick with. But a lot of y'all favorite productions were done on Reason, you know what I'm saying? Like especially a lot of old Atlanta stuff. And considering the fact that early on, people would resample keyboards that we love today, to this day, for Reason, and a lot of those patches are tempo sync. They have great quality. Just all around, just good patches like the Motif, ES, and XS. I mean XF. They got the Rolling Phantom X. They got the Rolling Phantom G patches. Pretty much anything, any hardware you could probably name, they had like patches for it on Reason. And like the default patches and loops and drum sounds and actual tools that came with Reason were very useful, and the actual output of sound quality from that DAW is amazing. By default, the mixing channels actually have like a mix bus on it. So by default, when you open up that mixer channel, it's embedded into the channel for it to have like I think like a three or four way like dynamic EQ, compression, like stereo separation, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you could parallel, you can like reverse the polarity of the sounds by like, I think switching the panning a certain way. It's just a lot of capability to Reasons. Like they make the right process cookie cutter, which is like getting the quality you want. And I think even by default there's like a master preset, right? And they have a soft clipper on there, so you enable the soft clip. You can crank the volume up. You can also on the master bus, you can mess with the stereo separation, I think in two forms of EQ. So it's like any low end sound, you can kind of select what low end frequencies you want to center or widen. You can completely widen your bass signal, or you know what I'm saying, mono it in the center, and then you can widen the brighter sounds like the mids and high mids with the stereo image. But yeah, Reason is a phenomenal DAW with great sound design capability and just great production capability. And it always lacked the right stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the latency of MIDI recording, or you know what I'm saying, like crash issues, or having to deal with like opening plugins and it crash your DAW, like because each process for it, it opens like in a standalone plugin fashion. And it's like if you're not using a session, it doesn't really do anything because a lot of patches in there went off of pure sample memory. You know what I'm saying? Like you load the sample and that's it. That bitch just there. Like it's not really like running the process for real. They got plugins and stuff on there now, so obviously like you got that type of stuff going on. But you can still run multiple sessions of Reason and render multiple beats, work on multiple different projects at once. Alternate, switch through, get it done, get it done, get it done, render them all one by one. And it had great track out features. That was one of my issues with FL Studio. You always have to route it to the mixer to get the track out. It's like natively, it doesn't you know what I'm saying, route every new sound to the mixer, but I can understand why, because in FL, like the process overall, like with just making music and then especially when you're dealing with recording audio files and importing things, like before you know it, you have like damn 50 tracks open, you feel me? Because like you just like tweaking stuff, so it's like, and then you making tracks unique or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's like before you know it, like a basic ass one melody beat might have like 30 damn tracks in it because all the flipping and stuff you did if it was just natively automatically routed. But that's another topic. That was a little information for y'all. But yeah, like all together that time period from like 2011 to probably about 2019, you know, I did all the drums in this kit, and then earlier, I think last year and earlier this year around January and stuff, I did some drums that are in here. Some that producers like Ty Gleeful used, my boy Robbie. Shout out OG Cello for approving the sounds. Um, my boy One Time. There's a lot of other producers. Can't really confirm, but I've heard, you know what I'm saying, similar sounds. So just leave it at that. But this kit is packed. It's jam packed. There's a lot of sauce in there. But that's just like a little history, you know what I'm saying, with a little information, a little insight, and a couple little details from, stuff in my life. But yeah, B-Rackz, man, and appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody that been by my side throughout my basically 14, 15 year career. And you know what I'm saying, let's keep cooking that heat. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going, man. Let's keep working, let's keep motivating each other. Let's keep appreciating. Let's keep having this money in circulation. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all go crazy, get them platinums, get them golds, man. You know what I'm saying? Ace that test, you know what I'm saying? Become a doctor, become a lawyer, whatever you're trying to do, succeed at it. Um, you know, show up, show out, prosper, and you know what I'm saying, chase your goals and your dreams, man. But it's B-Rackz, you know what I'm saying? I'm out, y'all. That's just a little backstory on the B-Rackz archive bundle. Salute, peace out.